Welcome to The Explainer. Okay, let's jump right into it today. You know all those empty self-help cliches that just tell you to believe in yourself? Yeah, we're totally dismantling those today. Instead, we're going to build a rigorous, entirely evidence-based framework for audacious achievements. We're looking at the actual, hard science behind how people accomplish things that seem completely, ridiculously unattainable. We're talking about everything from mountaineers summiting the world's deadliest peaks without oxygen, all the way to engineers catching giant falling rockets out of the sky with mechanical chopsticks. It's going to be a fun one.
But before we even get into the how, we really have to ask a fundamental question. What does impossible actually mean? I want you to challenge your core assumptions right now. Think about an impossible goal in your own life. Does it actually violate the laws of physics? Because, well, unless you're trying to travel faster than the speed of light, it probably doesn't. Far more likely, your impossible goal merely violates your current psychological beliefs, or maybe it just requires a set of skills and resources you simply haven't acquired quite yet.
And that brings us perfectly to Section 1, redefining the word impossible. See, evolutionarily speaking, our brains are basically just ancient threat detection machines. They label big, unknown goals as impossible, just to conserve energy and keep us safely tucked away in our comfort zones. We really need to upgrade from that biological alarm system to a modern engineering mindset. Think of it this way. Impossible is just a temporary psychological label. The true magic happens the second you change your internal narrative from "I cannot do this" to "I am learning how to do this." That simple, 5-word shift completely rewires your fear response. It takes this overwhelming, massive fantasy and breaks it down into a manageable, step-by-step skill acquisition problem. You're not staring up at an unscalable mountain anymore. You're just asking yourself, okay, what is the very next skill I need to learn? So how do we actually build the capacity for that kind of learning? Well, it starts with Carol Dweck's famous 2006 framework that contrasts a fixed mindset with a growth mindset. In a fixed mindset, people believe their traits are static right from birth, which means failing feels like this permanent, devastating verdict on their self-worth. But in a growth mindset, you believe traits are malleable through effort. So failure? It's just information. This idea was incredibly appealing. I mean, it saw massive adoption right out of the gate, getting painted on school walls and preached in corporate boardrooms all over the world. Moving right along to Section 2, the truth about mindset. Let's look at how this hugely popular theory actually holds up under rigorous scientific testing. Because here's the thing, there is a pretty massive gap between popular self-help claims and actual scientific reality. A sweeping 2018 meta-analysis of 138 studies by Sisk and colleagues, which was then followed by some really rigorous testing in 2019 by Leeson Bates, well, they threw a bit of a cold shower on the whole industry. They found that merely holding a growth mindset actually has a much weaker and highly context-dependent effect on achievement than we were originally led to believe. Repeating positive affirmations to yourself simply isn't enough to guarantee success if you aren't putting in further effort. Now, you might think Carol Dweck would get defensive about this, but she actually responded with incredible scientific humility. As she noted herself, growth mindset is even more complex than we imagined. She explicitly warned the public against what she called a false growth mindset. That's what happens when people rely entirely on empty affirmations. A true growth mindset only works when it's paired with genuine challenge, a concrete strategy, and actual environmental support. Belief alone, it's never going to be enough. So if belief isn't enough, how do we actually bridge that gap? Let's get into Section 3, turning intentions into action. To move from abstract beliefs in a laboratory to actually completing your goals, we look to implementation intentions, a concept pioneered by Peter Gulwitzer. Most goals fail simply because they lack specificity. The formula here is incredibly simple. Step 1, identify situation X. Step 2, define action Y. Step 3, execute if X, then Y. A massive 2024 meta-analysis of 642 studies proved that creating this specific link, like saying, if I finish my morning coffee at 7:30 a.m., then I will put on my running shoes, literally triples your goal completion rate. Triples it! It works because you're offloading your willpower directly into your environment. Your brain essentially just puts the action on autopilot. And we can completely supercharge this by using Gabriella Oettingen's WOOP method. That stands for wish, outcome, obstacle, plan. See, unstructured positive thinking can actually make you lazy because it gives you the emotional reward of success without you actually doing any of the hard work. The WOOP method fixes this. You vividly contrast your desired positive outcome directly against your primary internal obstacle.
Creating that stark contrast immediately prompts goal-directed action instead of just leaving you in a state of passive, inert daydreaming. This dynamic explains exactly why some people follow through and others just don't. Recent research out of the University of Trier really highlights this difference between state orientation, which is basically characterized by hesitation and habitual procrastination, and action orientation, which is the ability to regulate difficult emotions in order to act decisively. When goals get incredibly difficult, your ability to regulate those uncomfortable emotions, to feel the fear and the doubt but execute your plan anyway, that is the defining factor for success.
All right, let's get into section 4, real-world audacious achievements. Let's take these laboratory theories and look at actual human beings who treat the impossible as an ordinary Tuesday. Look at this staggering number, 97%. That is the percentage of Everest climbers who rely on supplemental oxygen just to survive. Yet the mountaineer Kilian Jornet solo summited Everest in a mere 26 hours, completely alone, without fixed ropes, and without any supplemental oxygen whatsoever. No way, right? Well, he proved the incredible power of deliberately testing personal limits and cultivating an extreme comfort with uncertainty right from a very young age.
Then we have the unbelievable feat of former Gurkha Nirmal Nims Persia. Living by his motto, always a little higher, Nims climbed all 14 of the world's 8,000-meter peaks in an absolutely unprecedented 6 months and 6 days. That is an endeavor that used to take elite climbers many years to complete. He completely embodied a deeply personal philosophy of relentless forward momentum and total adaptability. Shifting gears from human endurance over to extreme engineering, consider this multiplier for a second, 50x. That was the typical markup from raw materials to a final aerospace component right before SpaceX entered the industry. To target this insane markup, Elon Musk introduced something called the Idiot Index, which is a mathematical ratio used to eliminate bloated manufacturing costs. By breaking problems all the way down to their fundamental physics, SpaceX systematically destroyed the long-held assumption that spaceflight had to be astronomically expensive. Which leads us perfectly into section 5. Reframing failure and obstacles. Look, no audacious goal is ever achieved without failure. The crucial question you have to ask yourself is, do you view an obstacle as a verdict or as information? If an obstacle is a verdict, it means the universe is telling you to stop, and you naturally just abandon the goal. But if you treat it as information, it simply means you've acquired new data about the terrain. Treating obstacles as pure information sparks curiosity, it helps you regulate your emotions, and it drives continuous, iterative refinement. We literally see this exact mindset in action over at SpaceX. To paraphrase Tom Mueller, what genuinely matters is how quickly you identify a problem and resolve it before the next iteration. They have this literal blow it up if it blows up philosophy. In order to successfully catch a 3,600 metric ton super heavy booster out of midair with massive mechanical chopsticks, they had to transparently treat explosive failures as incredibly valuable engineering data, rather than treating them as embarrassing mistakes they needed to hide. Okay, we've made it to section 6, your step-by-step framework. Let's synthesize all this research we've talked about into a rapid, actionable blueprint for your own life. Here are the first 4 steps. Step 1, set a big, hairy, audacious goal. It needs to be daunting, for sure, but it also has to be grounded in reality. Step 2, practice WHOOP. Systematically contrast your deepest wish with your biggest internal obstacle. Step 3, use if-then plans. Deploy those implementation intentions so you can offload your willpower. And step 4, build action orientation. Deliberately practice taking small actions while you're experiencing emotional discomfort. And to finish off the blueprint, we have steps 5 through 8. Step 5, reframe failure as data. Remember, obstacles are pure information. They are not verdicts. Step 6, pair passion with perseverance. You've got to align your deep why with everyday grit. Step 7, apply scientific humility. Understand that belief alone just isn't enough. You need a concrete strategy. And finally, step 8, engineer your environment. Surround yourself with the systems and the people that genuinely support your specific goals. Which brings us to a direct challenge for you. What impossible goal are you going to start re-engineering today? Seriously, it is time to stop viewing your biggest dream as some unachievable fantasy. Instead, start treating it as an entirely solvable, iterative engineering problem. The tools are all right here. The science backs them up completely. Now, it's just about you applying them. Thank you so much for joining me on this explainer, and I absolutely cannot wait to see what you achieve.